What's up? What's up? What's up with it? You already know. You tuned in to another episode of Everything Boxing. I don't watch reality TV. I watch boxing. There you go, talking that boxing again. What's good with it? Big Tony off in the building. Valentine, salute to you. Cassandra Mason, what's going on, Queen? She says, definitely on time today, waiting on you. Yeah. I seen you in Money Brown chat talking about that WWE SummerSlam or Royal Rumble, you said, right? I'm gonna have to check that out, Cassandra. I'm gonna have to see what's happening with it. I ain't watched no wrestling in a long time. Mo Boxing, what's happening with it? Kenny, salute, fam. What's happening with it? Yeah. And when you come in the building, hit that like button and make sure that you hop in the comment section. Let me know you're in the building. Real Marlowe TV, what's good with it? Everybody make sure y'all go salute to the young homie, Real Marlowe. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Real Marlowe TV. Man, he over there putting in work. Show him some love. Go subscribe to Real Marlowe TV. Bumpy Thompson, what's good with it? Chris Mitchell off in the building. What's happening with it? D-Lo 404 Boxing. Oh yeah, I fit, man. Don't get me started, Cassandra. Yeah, Steven, what's good with it? Appreciate you. Ed Duran off in the building. He said Vanilla Ice ain't ready for the pound for pound king Canelo. Chris, man, soon, man. Soon, real soon. I'm gonna have some. My shit gonna be fire, man, cause you know I'm real into fashion anyway. So, yeah. Something wrong with this my screen. I don't know what's going on today. See what's going on with this screen. There we go. There we go. What's good with you? Marks G off in the super chat. Yep, that's real talk. You already know it. Mr. Shelton off in the building. What's good? Joe the Beast, what's good? Yep. Real Marlowe. Yep, it sure is. Yep. Holler at me, Marlo. I'll get you right. New to the channel. I appreciate you. More tip. I appreciate you. Salute to you. Like I said, we finna get the show started real soon. I'm just waiting to get some more of these little notifications out to let people know that we in the building and we gonna get to cooking. Before we get the show started, I want to get everybody Super Bowl picks. Put your Super Bowl picks in the chat. I want everybody to put their Super Bowl pick in the chat. Okay, hold on. We got Chiefs. Cassandra says she got the Chiefs. Chris, my fam Chris, he said he got the Bucks. Real Marlo, he got them Chiefs. Yeah, man, I had the Chiefs. I'm gonna let y'all know, man. I gotta go with the Bucks, man. I had the Chiefs, but I don't know, man. Tom Brady, I keep betting against him and I keep losing. Yeah, you say tough, but Tampa Bay got a chip, Bucks, and they playing at home. I think this is the first Super Bowl team to ever play at home. One of them. Sal, what's good with it? He said he going with the GOAT. Cassandra says she can't go against the GOAT. Mox G says Tom Brady or Tampa Bay. Big Tony say the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Tampa Bay. Ed Duran said he got the Chiefs in the close one. I think it's going to be close. It's really going to come down to the defense. But the Tampa Bay defense been looking good. They got some heavy hitters on defense for real. It looked like. And really, if you look at Tampa Bay, like I said, I really wanted to go with the Chiefs myself. But if you look at Tampa Bay, they didn't have the most difficult role. You know, they didn't beat some good ass teams. They beat New Orleans in the Dome. Then they came and beat Green Bay in Lambeau. It don't get no tougher than that. Big Tony, Big Tony, I feel you. That's one of the main reasons I'm going. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going for the Chiefs. I want the Chiefs to win. But if I had to put my money on it, I think I would have to put my money on Tampa Bay. But I want the Chiefs to win. I can't stand Tom Brady. I ain't finna lie to y'all. I ain't never liked Tom Brady. But then again, you know, I would like to see Antonio Brown to get a chip. Because Antonio Brown, man, he done been through a lot. And for him to come back and to be able to ball out and get a championship, man, that's saying a lot. You know, them folks tried to they tried to keep him up out the league. If it wasn't for Tom Brady, Antonio Brown wouldn't have no job right now in the league. They tried to keep him out, you know. And so I would like to see him get a chip. But other than that, man, I want the Chiefs to win, but I don't know. It's going to be a good one, though. This is a hard one to bet on. Big Drew Titan off in the building. What's happening with it? Hey, Drew said he ain't motherfucking Drew. Big Drew said he ain't debating none of y'all clowns. He said he ain't debating none of y'all clowns no more. I am Will. What's good with it? And y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to my man Big Drew Titan. Go subscribe to Drew Titan and make sure y'all go subscribe to I Am Ill Will. Man, I Am Ill Will, man. They be cooking over there. And they don't just talk about, he don't just talk about boxing. He talk about all type of different things, you know. Stephen T say he rooting for Pat. Yeah, me too. Patrick Mahomes, man, he a straight killer. He a straight killer. So let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, hit the like button. If you just come into the building, make sure that y'all hit the like button. Knockout Boxing 86 TV. What's happening with it? So let's talk about it, man. First thing I want to talk about is I want to start off talking about Caleb Plant, right? I want to start off talking about the Caleb Plant fight. We talked about it last week, and I think me and Money gave our predictions on it. And I had said, look, I said, look, check it out. I said, Caleb Truex is tough. He a tough opponent. I said, but he older, and he ain't all that no more. So I said, what I'm expecting from Caleb Plant, I said, I'm expecting Caleb Plant to go out there and just to beat the shit out of Caleb Truex and win every round. I said I was expecting him to either stop Caleb Truex or shut him out and win all 12 rounds. And that's exactly what he did. He boxed, to me, he boxed superbly. He won all 12 rounds. Then you got to understand, like my man Andre Ward. Andre Ward said some trill shit. He said, Caleb Plant, he fights, he rises to the level of his competition. He said when Andre Ward said, don't sleep on Caleb Plant, because when you see him in there with tougher level of competition, that's when you're going to see him, at his all-time greatest. And go back to the Jose Uzgati fight, right? Right? Go back to the Uzgatiki fight. Everybody had Uzgatiki beating Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant was a big underdog in that fight. I knew that Caleb Plant was going to beat him. Well, I ain't going to say I knew. I thought that Caleb Plant was going to beat him. But I was like, okay, well, this motherfucking Uzgatiki, he's a beast. So I said, it's going to be a tough fight for Plant. But Plant was the underdog. But he came, right? He rose to the occasion in that fight. He knocked dude down like 4 times. Nobody was expecting that shit. So now, right, a couple years later, down the line, you in there with a motherfucking Caleb Truex. Who is going to get up to fight Caleb Truex? And you fight him with no fans in attendance, But like I said, I think he did very well. He barely got hit. He beat the dog shit out of Caleb Truex. I mean, what else did you want him to do? Now, see, this is the thing with me. I hear all the criticizing. Oh, Caleb Plant ain't this, and Canelo and Benavidez will do this and that. That's cool. That's y'all opinion. But hey, and this go to some of my people too. You know what I'm saying? This go to some of my family, some of my family, right? I hear a lot of y'all talking that shit, right? And I'm gonna keep it 100, right? You got to keep the same energy, right? Because everybody talking shit about Caleb Plant, and we know why. It's because he didn't get the knockout, but he won all 12 rounds. And so what I'm saying, you got to keep the same energy, because a lot of people, right? A lot of people, and I'm just keeping it 100, a lot of people, right? When Devin Haney was getting criticized for going in there against Gamboa, that's older than Caleb Truex, he more than washed up. Motherfucker that came off of ankle surgery and a whole bunch of other shit, right? When Devin, and I'm not knocking Devin Haney. I'm just keeping it real, and I'm letting y'all know that you got to keep the same energy, right? Because when Devin Haney was getting criticized, when people was talking about Devin Haney, ain't gonna do this against Teofimo, he ain't gonna do this against this guy because he ain't got no power, he ain't get the knockout. When he was getting criticized, the same people that's criticizing Caleb Plant right now, right? The same ones that's criticizing Caleb Plant right now was saying, oh, well, Devin Haney, he boxed superbly. He won all 12 rounds. What else do you want him to do? I mean, this is boxing. You don't have to get the knockout every time. This is boxing. He boxed lovely. He did this and he did that. Devin Haney did this and did that, right? The same people that's criticizing Caleb Plant right now was talking shit to the people that were criticizing Devin Haney because he didn't get the knockout. So all I'm saying, right, is I got love for y'all, right? But all I'm saying is you got to keep the same energy because you can't get mad at people criticizing Devin Haney and then you come and saying, oh, well, he boxed superbly. He won all 12 rounds. It don't matter if he got the knockout or not. And then come over here and criticize Caleb Plant because he boxed, right? Won all 12 rounds, but you criticizing him because he didn't get the knockout. I'm lost. You got to keep the same energy. You can't, just because you like one fighter more than the other one, you can't switch it up. That's all I'm saying. Hold on, let me fix this green screen because 1 second, y'all. What's going on with this green screen? But that's all I'm saying. You got to keep the same energy because I listen and I pay attention to everything. And shout out to my man, Smooth Groove Boxing in the building. He says, once understood, don't have to be explained. The love is real. Real talk, man. Appreciate you in that super chat. But yeah, so like I said, it's like we got to keep the same energy. Now, if you coming out and you said, yeah, and I'm just using Devin Haney as an example because that's the best example I could use because Devin Haney, right? Devin Haney is, you know, the boxer that comes to my mind that boxed beautifully, won all 12 rounds. But, you know, you have people criticizing him for not getting the knockout because they thought that he should have got the knockout against a 39-year-old washed-up Gamboa, right? Right? And then you had the same people that's criticizing Caleb Plant that was defending Devin Haney, saying that, you know, boxing ain't all about knockouts and he boxed beautifully. So I'm peeping this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm peeping it. And just like, you know, and y'all already know, if I fuck with you, I'm still going to let you know when I ain't feeling some shit. Me and Money, y'all know me. Me and Money go at it on here all the time. It's just differences of opinion. But I will call some shit out if I see it. And I'm peeping that shit. And so I'm like, you know, just keep the same energy. Because if you go criticize Caleb Plant for boxing beautifully and winning all 12 rounds, you got to do the same for Devin Haney. Or if you ain't gonna do it for neither one, don't do it for neither one. And really, like I said, the fight pretty much turned out just like I said it was. I thought I was expecting him to go out there and win all 12 rounds. And that's what he did. Caleb Truex didn't win not one round. And he beat him up. Caleb Truex, at a lot of times in that fight, I seen it in Caleb Truex's face that if the only criticism that I have for Caleb Plant is that a lot of times, right? A lot of times, several times in that fight, I seen in Caleb Truex's face that he was about ready to, you know what I'm saying, lay it down. He was about ready to take that Colin Kaepernick and get on that one knee. But Caleb Plant had to put more pressure on him. You know what I'm saying? He had to go in there and just put more pressure on him. But, you know, he didn't. But, you know, the man said that he hurt his hand. He said he don't know if he broke it or not. He said he hurt his hand around the fourth to fifth round. He hurt his hand. So it made him a little hesitant to, you know, go all the way in at points in time. But he still won every single round and he still did what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I see a lot of people now is counting him out. Oh, he has no chance against Benavidez and Canelo. They'll beat the shit out of him. Right? They'll beat the shit out of him. Caleb Truex was landing this. Caleb Truex wasn't fucking. Caleb Truex landed a few shots. He didn't like, man, y'all need to stop acting like Caleb Truex was just landing all type of shit. Caleb Truex landed a few shots. And it was probably because after, I mean, you in there with the man, right? You see he can't do shit to you. Caleb Plant is not going to fight. He's not going to fight Benavidez or motherfucking Canelo the same way he was fighting. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Truex. Come on now. Y'all, and a lot of y'all that's saying this shit, y'all know boxing. Y'all know boxing. Come on, man. So come on. Caleb Plant is not going to go in there and fight no fucking Canelo or David Benavidez the same way that he fought Truex. And he's not going to prepare for a Canelo and Benavidez the same way. He's going to take those fights much more serious. When you in the ring with a guy that you know that should be in the ring with you, a guy that you know that you're going to knock out. But like I said, we can't knock Truex because Truex, he been in there with some real heavy hitters, and Truex, he can fight. He ain't just no fucking Rudy poop. You know what I'm saying? He's all right. He's tough. He tough. And he got some fight in him. You know what I'm saying? He got some fight in him. But I mean, like I said, we just got to keep that same energy. Like I said, I wouldn't even be on here talking about this shit if you had kept the same energy for Devin Haney, right? And I'm talking to a lot of people because I've been seeing a lot of people saying this shit, right? If you had kept the same energy, right, recently for Devin Haney, I wouldn't be able to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't even got to criticize a fighter like Devin Haney or whoever. You could have just been like, yeah, you know, Devin Haney, he boxed superbly, but you know, he gotta, you know, he gotta do more. You know, he should have got his opponent out of there. If you had said that shit and then came and said what you saying about Caleb Plant, I'd be like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? They stand, you know, they stand on the same level. But nah, man, I peep everything. And y'all already know if I peep some shit, it ain't right. I'm gonna call it out. My man Taiwan Terrell in the building. He says a lot of people on here that be on that. Yeah. Taiwan says Caleb Plant and Devin Haney are both boxers. Yeah, they both boxers. They both boxers, but they have enough power to cause you damage if you sleep on them. Neither one of them don't have no fucking Canelo power or Teofimo Lopez power, but they have enough power to, if you sleep on them and you just, you know, walk in and let them catch you with some shit, they got enough power to hurt you. But like I said, it's Caleb Plant, he has power too, but he didn't show a lot of it, you know, like I've seen Caleb Plant show superb power in, you know, different bouts, right? This wasn't one of them, but he said that he hurt his hand in the 4th or 5th round. So when you hurt your hand, sometimes, you know, you're not throwing with all of your power. You're not turning your hands over and hitting them with that part of the knuckle. You know, you kind of tentative. And that's what he said. So, you know, I don't have no reason not to believe the man because I've seen him early in Caleb Plant's career, you know, before he got that hand surgery. Because, see, a lot of people don't know. Caleb Plant don't have a lot of knockouts because early in his career, he had a lot of hand problems. And he spoke about that. He said that, you know, he had a lot of hand problems. At one point in time, he was needing a hand surgery that he needed for a long time, and he was holding it off. So he was just going in there outboxing these guys. He wasn't, you know, he wasn't turning over his shots like he was supposed to because of his hand problems, right? He then, before the Ugas, that's why he was out a year. He was out a whole year, you know, before the Ugas fight, before he won his title. He got the hand surgery, and then his hand was 100%. And when he came into that Ugas fight, he surprised everybody because we saw power in Caleb Plant that we didn't think he had. I didn't think he had no fucking power. I really didn't. I'm gonna keep it real because I never had seen him utilize I never had seen him with no power like that. You know, he was just a superb boxer. Then the fights after that, he showed that he was stopping opponents. They wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it 100. They wasn't no opponents that nobody, like, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't nothing, but he was still stopping them, and he was showing. You could tell when somebody hitting hard, and he was in there hitting hard. You know, he was in there showing power. In this fight, he said he hurt his hand. You know, I think that, like I said, I think maybe if he hadn't hurt his hand, if he had pressed Caleb Truex a lot more in certain times, I think he could have got him up out of there. You know, let me see. Knockout Boxing TV says, I think the performance was good, but Plant showed me nothing that leads me to believe he can beat Canelo. It's a 50-50 fight with him and Benavidez, though. Like I said, I'm not gonna go that far and say, because like I said, you gotta understand, Plant only got 21 fights. He's getting better and better. And I don't think that he's going to take the same game plan in a Canelo fight that he's going to take in a Truex fight. But we're going to see. We're going to see, you know. We still, like I said before, we still haven't seen Canelo fight an opponent that has a great jab, that can move around, that's slick, that can do all those things, right? At 168 or 160 or shit. Let's keep it real. We haven't seen Canelo in the ring with an opponent that can do all those things since Lara. Ever since then, he hasn't been in, and especially an opponent with the size of Caleb Plant. So that, to me, that's a 50-50 fight. I think that he beats Benavidez in a tough fight because Benavidez get hit too much. And Caleb Plant is not going to fight that way against Canelo and Benavidez. He's going to use more of his legs and his athleticism. Caleb Truex didn't pose no threat like that. You know, it's different levels. But Kenny said 49 shots. John Page, what's good? Batman, what's happening with it? Taiwan Terrell said, who's saying that shit? Point them out. It's a lot of people saying that, man. It's a lot. It's a, like, that's why I'm talking about it, because a lot of people been saying that, you know, and people got their opinions. I mean, I don't have no problem with nobody's opinion, but the thing is, with me, just like I be telling my man Money, when me and him get into, I always say, you got to keep the same energy, just like I tell everybody, because you can't switch it up for one fighter, right, and then be the total opposite for the next. If I do that shit, I want somebody to call me out on it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Batman said, tell them, keep the same energy. That's all I'm saying. Valentine, he said, hey. He says, Valentine says, this is the same shit they said when Haney did knock out Gamboa, right? Mark Wonderlick says, Utah in the house, salute. What's good with it? He said, LDBC Bomb Squad, Team Petty, LK, Tay say facts. Knockout Boxing 86 TV says, you might be right. Hope we get to see this year. Yeah, and I think, you know what? Caleb Plant did great for himself, because a lot of people looked at that, right? And they just looked at it like, okay, he didn't impress me. A lot of people feel that way. And that's your opinion. I don't have no problems. I don't have no problem with people's opinion. You dig what I'm saying? I can't tell nobody how to feel. If you feel that he didn't impress you, if you feel that Canelo beats him and Benavidez beats him, cool. I'm not on here to argue with nobody about what their opinion is, but all I'm going to do is I will let you know, hey, when such and such did the same shit, you ain't keep the same energy. So what you talking about? I am going to let you know that. But the thing is, you know, if you got your opinion on who's going to win, and that's cool. You feel me? But We gonna see. But what I'm saying right now is that Caleb Plant, he did himself a big favor because a lot of people feel the way they feel about that fight. Now, Canelo is looking at that, right? And he probably didn't impress Canelo like that neither. Now, Canelo is more than willing to take that fight because if Caleb Plant had went out there, beat the shit out of dude for like 5 rounds, and then knocked him out in the 6th or 7th, right? And looked unstoppable. Do y'all really think that Canelo Alvarez would have took that fucking fight, even though it was a Caleb Truex? Do y'all really think that if Caleb Plant went out there, didn't get touched, looked unstoppable, and all of that, do you think that he would have took that fight against Plant? Do y'all really think Canelo would have went out there and took that fight? I don't think so. It would have, and I'm not gonna say he wouldn't have took it, but it would have been way more difficult to get Canelo in the ring with a Caleb Plant if that had happened, right? It would have been way more difficult, right? Canelo then would start asking for way more money. It would have been this. It would have been, oh, you gotta come in at this way. You gotta do, man. We know how he moves. We know how he moves. Bernard Burton, what's good? My man Batman says, sweet hands, fuck Canelo up. Yes, sir. Valentine says, dudes are fickle. He said, I got Plant over Canelo. Yes, now Canelo will want to fight facts. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Valentine, like, Canelo gonna want to fight this. So while y'all look at it as like, oh, he ain't this and he ain't impressed me, he actually helped himself out. I look at it like that. He helped himself out by the type of performance, because you don't forget, he still won every round, but he helped himself out, right? Because a lot of people look at it and like, oh, well, he looked vulnerable. I don't know how, but I'm pretty sure Canelo is thinking the same thing. Leon Robinson, what's good? Wayne Jr., Stan Swoosh, Bruce Gold's in the building. What's good? Bruce Gold said, so do I think Plant held back? Well, yeah, because it was, if you watch the fight, there was plenty of times in that fight that he really had Caleb Truex hurt. And I'm like, man, hop on him. And he kind of just like, stepped back and kind of laid off of him. But like I said, like he said he was tentative because he hurt his hand in the 4th or 5th round. Stan Swiss says, damn, so now great boxers have to look average so they don't scare Canelo off. Shit sad, bro. And I'm not just gonna put that on Canelo. You dig what I'm saying? A lot of this, we've seen this we've seen this, right, a lot of times, right? We saw it with Triple G. Let's keep it 100. I don't like Triple G at all. Cassandra, right? Cassandra know how much I don't like Triple G, right? But let's keep it real. A lot of them motherfuckers didn't want to fight. Daniel Jacobs didn't want nothing to do with Triple G. Canelo didn't want nothing to do with Triple G until Triple G started looking vulnerable. When Triple G fought Kell Brook, and Kell Brook had some success in the early rounds, then Daniel Jacobs looked at that. That's when he was like, okay, if a smaller guy like Kell Brook can come up 2 weight classes and put hands on him like that, I know I can do it. So then Daniel Jacobs, he grew some nuts and stepped up to the plate. He ain't want to fight Triple G before that, and I'm just keeping it 100 because they had asked him, and he was like, nah, this thing. He's making all type of excuses. So then when Daniel Jacobs, right, when he made Triple G look vulnerable, and a lot of people thought that Daniel Jacobs, edged out a win against Triple G, then Canelo stepped up to the plate all of a sudden, it was like, shit, I'll fight him. But so we see this type of shit in boxing all the time. Ebony Queen, what's going on with you, Queen? Salute. Ebony Queen says, I bet Canelo call him out now. Yeah, Canelo, right? Canelo is just gonna be more adamant about it now. Like, yeah, I'm fighting. He gonna lock it in. Once I beat Billy Joe, I'm fighting. You know, once I beat this bum, I'm fighting it this month. You know what I'm saying? We don't even need to say his name because that's some bullshit, right? And then I go in May and I beat Billy Joe. Then I want Caleb Plant. He just gonna make it more vocal. He gonna be more vocal about it. If Caleb Plant had went out there and looked like motherfucking Mike Tyson in '86, man, come on. We wouldn't be seeing no Plant and Canelo fight. I doubt it. Cassandra Mason say, put some respect on Triple G name. Oh, man, Triple G. Cassandra, how can you ride for a man that came and said straight out, I'm never going to fight Jamal Charlo, and I'm never going to fight Demetrius Andrade neither. But he fight motherfuckers like Steven Dennerose and Vanez Matarosian and come on, man. Triple G, Cassandra, Triple G might be in that Cincinnati, Ohio, right? At your local bar to find his next opponent. He might be in Cincinnati before you know it at your favorite bar to find his next opponent because that's where he get half of his opponents from. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking barroom brawlers. J.A. Dixon says, salute. Let me see. Let me get this super chat. Bernard Burton says, what it do, Key? Respecting the grind. I appreciate you in that super chat. J.A. Dixon says, salute. I don't like how Canelo moves, but he offered Plant to fight last year, even though it was on short notice. But this is the thing, man. You can't let nobody play you, right? You can't let nobody fucking big dog you like you ain't shit. Caleb Plant is a champion too, right? I'm not finna let no motherfucker come up to my weight division that I've been champion before you, way before you, and big dog me. You're not finna do that. You feel what I'm saying? Caleb Plant bet it on himself. Caleb Plant said, nah, fuck that. You ain't finna get me to take no fucking fight with you on short notice and you coming up to my division and you trying to big dog me. Like I gotta jump when you said. Caleb Plant said, nah, I'm gonna do what the fuck I've been doing. I'm gonna continue to win. And then you're gonna have to come see me. Right? You're gonna have to come see me because who the fuck are you? I don't give a fuck how much you think they paying you over there. You not finna big dog me. Straight up. I'm a champion. I've been a champion longer than you, and you a champion too. You gonna treat me with respect. You're not finna tell me, oh, you gotta fight me, but you only can fight me on this amount of notice. No, you gonna come back around because I'm gonna have this belt. I'm gonna have this belt. And if you want to stay in this division, you're gonna have to see me if you want all the belts. So Caleb Plant is smart, right? He's smart. A lot of dudes don't believe in themselves. A lot of dudes would have jumped on that shit because they like, shit, I got to take the chance because I ain't going, I got to take the chance. He already was a champion. Fuck, he got to jump on what Canelo say. He the champion already. Knockout Boxing 86 TV says, don't do Yildirim like that, bro. He became the mandatory by losing to a guy. Wait, hold on. It jumped on me. He says he became the mandatory by losing to that guy that lost to Benavidez 2 years ago. Man, that's some bullshit. I ain't never seen. Boxing is crazy. Valentine said Canelo and GGG are not worthy of true champions. Man, no, hold on, y'all. Canelo a fucking beast. I'm not finna get in here and just shit on Canelo like that. You dig what I'm saying? I don't like the way that Canelo moves, right? I don't like a lot of moves that Canelo made. But don't get me wrong. Canelo can fight his motherfucking ass off. That red motherfucker can fight, right? He can fight. So we're not going to try to just sit up there and act like he just a hoe and this. Like he can fight. You know what I'm saying? And he could very well beat Caleb Plant and everybody else. You know, he can. It wouldn't. I'm gonna say it like this. I favor Caleb Plant, right? I favor Caleb Plant just because the type of opponent that he is, right? Jamal Charlo. I favor Jamal Charlo. First, I favor Canelo, but I favor Jamal Charlo because I see that Canelo is so hesitant to fight Jamal Charlo, right? He want to do any and everything but fight Jamal Charlo. So that lets me know that his confidence is not at the level it needs to be going into a fight with Jamal Charlo. But like I said, Canelo can very well beat all of these dudes. And it wouldn't surprise me if he beat Plant, Charlo, Benavidez, all of them. It wouldn't surprise me, right? Because that's how good Canelo is. But you know, Cassandra Mason says, and Jaime Munguia is a better opponent than Yildirim. Yeah, Jaime Munguia, he's a walking punching bag. You know, he'll walking punching bag, but he is a better opponent than Yildirim. Like, come on now. You know who Jaime Munguia is? You know, some of y'all might not know because if you're younger, you ain't never seen it. But, you know, in our era, kickboxer with John Clive Van Damme. Jaime Munguia is Tong Po. That's Tong Po. Patricia Shelton off in the building. What's going on with it, Queen? She says, Canelo looks like a piece of plastic. He looks like he's been made in a lab. Hey, you crazy as hell. Man, go do Canelo like that. And y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all, mash on that like button. J.A. Dixon says, didn't they strip Canelo because he wouldn't fight Triple G at first? I think they did. Cassandra says, yeah, I don't like Sao, but he is a damn good fighter. Got to give him that. Yeah, you got to give him his props. Phil J 508 was good. Smooth Groove says he can fight them needless cheating ass. He says, fuck Canelo. We ain't riding for no cheats. Man, I feel you, Smooth Groove, but I'm not going to, like I said before, man, I'm going to keep the same energy, right? And I'm not going to put that on. I'm not going to put Canelo whole career, because career down because he got caught one time. Because like I said, you can use examples. Look at Billy Joe Sanders when he got caught. See, I get on Billy Joe because he got caught, right? He got caught. But after he got caught, he never looked the same again. So it's like, it make me really think like, damn, how long was this motherfucker using PEDs? Because after he got caught, he never looked the same again. But Canelo, we can't say the same. Canelo got caught, and after that, he went on to look better. He continued to elevate. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say, oh, he's a drug cheat. He ain't got caught again. And if we gonna say that about Canelo, we got to say that about a lot of these fighters. A lot of these fighters, a lot of your favorite fighters in the past got caught on PEDs, right? A lot of them did. So if we gonna say that about Canelo, we got to bash a lot of our favorite fighters, right? A lot of them got caught on PEDs. So you dig what I'm saying? If we're going to say that about Canelo, we got to keep the same energy about a lot of fighters. So if we're going to destroy Canelo's whole career for one incident, all the rest of them, we got to do the same. And I'm not willing to do that, right? I'm not willing to do that about all of the rest of them. You feel what I'm saying? For one incident. Holyfield, Holyfield, Shane Mosley, we could go on and on. Sebastian says, I don't see anybody beating Canelo in the next 5 years. That's a guarantee. Well, Sebastian, that's not a guarantee. That's your opinion, right? I respect your opinion, but that is your opinion. That's not a guarantee, right? So, but I respect your opinion. If you feel that way, I don't have no problem with you feeling that way. Like, I feel that way about Shakur Stevenson. I can't tell you that's a guarantee, but I feel strongly about it, but it's not a guarantee. That's just my opinion. Drew Tice says Roy Jones, James Toney, Evander Holyfield, Shannon Briggs, and that's just to name a few. So, like I said, I don't have no problem if you say that about Canelo, but you got to say it about everybody else. A lot of these legends, you dig what I'm saying? A lot of these legends, you got to say that shit about. Bruce Gold says they adjusted clenbuterol levels for Saul. Yeah, man, they did a lot of shit. The WB, but that's Mauricio Suleiman and the they so fucking dirty on all type of levels. When they favor a fighter, they gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do to favor that fighter. That's what they do, you know. So you know, I mean, but like I said, I don't do that to the rest of these fighters. So me just keeping it real, I can't do that to Canelo. But now if you getting caught multiple times, right? If you getting caught multiple times, like Shannon Briggs, now it's like, okay, bro, you didn't got caught more than once. What the fuck is you really doing? Now it's like, okay, now I'm looking at you and I'm putting the asterisk but over your whole career because now you didn't got caught more than once. You feel me? It's just like John Jones in the UFC, right? Like, I know that John Jones is, his talent level is so much ahead of all of these dudes. And I know that John Jones is all in fights. He could have won them fights without being on nothing. But at the same time, he continued to get caught, right? So it's like, man, that's a tough one for me right there. John Jones is a real tough one for me because I got to keep it real, you know, and stick to what the fuck I say and what I believe in. But then I'm like, man, I know John Jones is a fucking beast. But so it is what it is, you know. I mean, the land of the 216 was good with it. What's happening with you? So let's go ahead and move on, right? Let's move on. Let's get into you know, Manny Pacquiao and this Errol Spence and Ugas. Let's get into this shit, right? Let's get into it. Sylvester 2011 in the building. What's good? Mo Boxing in the building. But let's get into this shit, right? Because Manny Pacquiao, right? Manny Pacquiao, poor Manny Pacquiao. Let me hold on. Before I get into this, make sure y'all hit my like button and give me a second while I don't know what's going on with my screen today. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. I don't know what the hell going on. But anyway, there we go. So anyway, so Manny Pacquiao, y'all, Manny Pacquiao. See, this is funny to me, right? This whole thing that's going on with Manny Pacquiao. That's why if y'all see, you know, the picture that I put up with Errol Spence laughing at him, like that shit funny to me because Manny Pacquiao, right, for some years now, Manny Pacquiao been ducking Errol Spence. He been ducking Terrence Crawford, right? Manny Pacquiao has been ducking. He been, you know, and when I say that I was shocked when he fought Keith Thurman, I was shocked when he fought Keith Thurman because Manny Pacquiao, for years and years, he been taking the easy path. Let's talk about the easy road, right? Because a lot of people like to talk about the easy road when it comes to Errol Spence, but it's not true. With Manny Pacquiao, it's true. You having 3 rematches against Tim Bradley. You fighting guys like Jesse Vargas. You fighting guys like Chris Algieri on pay-per-view. You fighting dudes like who else? You fighting all these rematches against Marquez, right? But we know how the last one went. And it's just, if you look at the path that he'd been taking for so many years, he was taking the easy path. So when he fought Keith Thurman, I was shocked. I'm like, damn, Manny Pacquiao is finally fighting a heavy hitter, right? He finally fighting somebody that can really get in his ass, right? And then when we go back and we look at the circumstances, right? Did Manny Pacquiao only take that Keith Thurman fight because he thought that Keith Thurman was vulnerable, right? Let's go back to the Josecito Lopez fight with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman out 2 years from the sport. Then he goes in and he fights Josecito Lopez. Josecito Lopez was this close from knocking out Keith Thurman. He was this close from stopping Keith Thurman, right? So I asked myself, did Manny Pacquiao see that? And was like, yeah, Keith Thurman ain't the same no more. He not the same Keith Thurman. Go ahead and sign me up for that fight. Because at the time, I believe you had Errol Spence. He had the IBF belt. I think you had Sean Porter that had the WBC. And you had Terrence Crawford. You had Terrence Crawford that had the WBO, right? And you had Keith Thurman that had the WBA. So out of those, Manny Pacquiao, he wanted a belt. So what did he look at as the easiest path? Well, Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman was coming off a 2-year layoff. Keith Thurman didn't look good in his comeback fight and almost got stopped. So I say to myself, did Keith Thurman look at that and say, you know what? I mean, did Manny Pacquiao look at that and say, oh, this is easy. This gonna be easy, right? Let me hop on Keith Thurman while he's still rusty. Let me hop on Keith Thurman while he's still, he just coming off an injury. He still might be injured. Let me hop on him. Bam. And so he goes and beat Keith Thurman. I'm going to give him all this credit, but he goes and beat Keith Thurman. But it's something to think about, because if you want to keep it 100, he was taking the easy route for a whole lot of years. He was taking the easy route, right? So, and he wasn't fighting the heavy hitters. He wasn't fighting the heavy hitters. Although, yeah, he was over there on Top Rank, so that could be, but he was taking the easy route. So now, right, he continued to bluff. Oh, Errol Spence, because we know he was ducking Errol. When he got in the ring, right, when he showed up to the Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence fight, he wasn't expecting that fight to go like that, because Mikey Garcia had convinced him and a whole lot of other people that Errol Spence had a lot of holes in his game, that he was going to exploit Errol Spence, and that he saw something in Errol Spence. Manny Pacquiao showed up to that fight confident that Mikey Garcia was going to come out victorious. Because we got to understand, at that point in time, Mikey Garcia was looking unstoppable. Mikey Garcia was on the roll. Mikey Garcia had beat the shit out of AB. He had beat the shit out of Lipinets. He had beat the shit out of Robert Easter, and so on. Mikey Garcia was looking unstoppable. So, he looking at Mikey Garcia like, I think Mikey Garcia gonna beat this guy Errol Spence, right? So he shows up to the fight happy. You know what I'm saying? He show up to the fight happy, thinking that Mikey Garcia gonna win because he looking at Mikey Garcia. He's like, okay, he my size. That's a good fight. This is, you know, his style. I could beat Mikey Garcia. Errol Spence went in there and did what the fuck he did and showed a different side to his game. Outboxed Mikey Garcia for 12 rounds and beat the shit out of him, right? Dog walked him, right? Like my man Batman said, dog walked his ass. Now they pushing Manny Pacquiao in the ring like, hey, you showed up. This is what we want. You gotta hop in the ring and you gotta get in the ring with Errol Spence. They made him get in that bitch, right? So he got the mic in his hand. They like, yeah, we gonna see a Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. The motherfucker starts stuttering and shit. He starts stuttering like my man Cotto. He starts stuttering like Cotto when they asked Cotto about fight Triple G. I gotta speak to my manager Al. I gotta speak to Al Heyman. Like the motherfucker, he didn't even want to look at Errol Spence in the eye, and Errol Spence looking dead at him like, "What's up?" He wasn't expecting that shit. Like my man PLG Scott said, he forgot English. Yeah, he forgot he knew how to speak English when he gotta speak to my like, nah, he ain't want that smoke. And if y'all go back to one of the interviews I did with Errol Spence some years ago, I told EJ that. I said, do you really think that Manny Pacquiao is gonna fight you? And he like, yeah, I think he gonna fight me. I think Manny will fight anybody. I said, man, he ain't gonna fight you, dog. I told him that. I said, I don't think he gonna fight. He said, yeah, I think he gonna fight me. I said, EJ, I don't think he gonna fight you. He said, yeah, I think he gonna fight me. Manny Pacquiao, you know, I think he'll fight anybody. And I told him, I said, he ain't gonna fight you, right? So he been ducking, right? He been ducking. He ain't been wanting to get in the ring with dudes like Errol Spence and Sean Porter and, you know, he been ducking them type of in Terrence Crawford. He don't want no Crawford smoke. He don't want no Errol Spence smoke and all of that. So his plans failed because see what he was doing, right? I see right through that shit. What Manny Pacquiao was doing is he was trying to stall out and hold that belt as long as he could. See, right? What he was doing is he come out here and he said, yeah, you know, let me get a tune up. And then I'm looking to fight Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford. You know, let me get a tune up first, right? But he's stalling the whole time because, see, what he was doing is he trying to get a big money fight. See, the McGregor fight, that shit fell out. That shit fell out. That McGregor fight, see, he already had his plan. I'm trying to tell y'all. But that's why that shit is funny. And I'm going to tell you what he had planned. First, he had McGregor planned, right? He wanted a fight between him and McGregor to get a big money grab, right? And then he already had his plan, what he was going to do after McGregor, right? But the McGregor shit fell out. His plan was to go fight McGregor, right? Stall y'all out and use Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence to have everybody like, okay, well, you know, let him hold on to the belt because let him get his little warm up in against McGregor. Let him make his money. And then after that, he gonna fight Terrence Crawford or he gonna fight Errol Spence and get everybody excited, right? Everybody's gonna get all excited. Okay, now he fought McGregor. Now Manny Pacquiao, he gonna come with the shit. What he was gonna do, he gonna come with the shit, all right? He was gonna go, and next thing y'all was gonna hear is Manny Pacquiao versus Mikey Garcia with the title on the line, right? That's what he was gonna do, right? Because I'm gonna tell y'all, him and Mikey Garcia had been negotiating for a long time. At one point, Mikey Garcia said that he was like 95% sure that they was fighting next, that he was fighting Manny Pacquiao next, right? But what happened is that Conor McGregor shit came up. And then Manny Pacquiao, he started thinking like, I've been out of the ring for 2 years, I don't really want to hop in there with Mikey Garcia like that. You know, because Mikey Garcia, he ain't no fucking punk. We the same size, and you know, I'm not just, I want to warm up before, you know, I fight Mikey Garcia. I want to have a training camp, go in there and get some big money, and then I'll fight Mikey Garcia. Because I'm telling y'all, do y'all just think all of a sudden that he just decided, no, I'm not going to fight Mikey Garcia. I'm going to fight Errol Spence. Or I'm going to fight Terrence Crawford. Fuck no. He knew what he was going to do. He was going to face McGregor, have everybody hyped up to see an Errol Spence or a Crawford fight, and then he was going to fight Mikey Garcia for that title. But the whole time, right, doing that, the whole time, he was going to hold on to that title, right? He was going to hold on to that title, bluffing, making y'all think that he was holding on to the title to give Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford a shot. He had his plan. He had his fucking plan, right? He had his plan already set, stone in place. He's going to fight Mikey Garcia, and then he was going to ride off in the sunset, right? If he beat Mikey Garcia, he was going to ride off in the sunset, leaving everybody pissed off, right? Because he didn't fight Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence. But that's the plan. I'm telling y'all, that's the plan, because if he was going to fight Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence, that shit would have been and happened. The shit would have been and happened. It would have been happened. He wasn't going to fight them. And I kept saying it. I said, Manny Pacquiao is not going to fight no Errol Spence. First of all, see, these trainers and managers, they be trying to play y'all, right? Because I remember adamantly when Freddie Roach was saying that Manny Pacquiao, that he didn't want Manny Pacquiao, if he had his say so, he wouldn't want, and this is when, because remember, when Freddie Roach left, when he wasn't working with Manny Pacquiao for a while, right? Freddie worked for a while. Freddie Roach and Manny Pacquiao had split. During that time, Freddie Roach came out and he said that if it was up to him, he would keep Manny Pacquiao away from Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. That's what he said. Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach, they fuck with each other again now. You think, what y'all think changed? Y'all really think that Manny Pacquiao is going to get in there with a young Errol Spence or a young Terrence Crawford? Man, hell no. He ain't never took that path. And when he was taking that path, when he first came to 47, he was either making these guys shrink in weight, right? He was making them come down in weight. Or he was fighting them after Floyd Mayweather had already beat the shit out of him. It was either one of the two. And you got to respect him for all the weight classes that he came up in, but you got to look at what he did, when he did it, and how he did it. It's cool looking at it on the outside like, oh, he was just running through these guys. But what was the circumstances behind it, right? What was the circumstances behind it? Cotto had to fight him and come down in weight, right? De La Hoya had to come way down in weight and fight him. Shane Mosley was older than Methuselah. Who else? Joshua Clottey. I'm going to tell y'all some shit about the Joshua. Remember when Manny Pacquiao beat Joshua Clottey, right? If y'all go back to that Joshua Clottey fight in Cowboy Stadium, I'm going to tell y'all some real shit, right? And I always was skeptical about that Joshua Clottey fight because before, when I had seen Joshua Clottey could fight. He was a fighter that was going to stay on your ass. He was going, he was a tough, gritty fighter. And Joshua Clottey had a great jab. He used his length. He could fight. Joshua Clottey could fight. So when he went in there and fought Manny Pacquiao, to me, that was a very dangerous fight to Manny Pacquiao. Then if you go and look at the fight, right, I always was skeptical, like, what the fuck is Joshua Clottey doing in this fight, right? And he just stood there in the shell basically the whole fight, and he didn't do nothing, right? Now, I always was skeptical about that Joshua Clottey fight, right? Years later, right? I think this is probably like 2015, maybe 14, right? I'm scrolling down YouTube, right? This is some real shit. I'm scrolling down YouTube, right? Years later. And Joshua Clottey, because remember, he didn't fight after that. Joshua Clottey, he popped up on my YouTube, and it was an interview that he did in Africa. Interview he did, I think he's from Africa. It was an interview that he did, right? And it's no longer on YouTube. You can't find it because I've searched for it, right? And Joshua Clottey talked about it. He talked about it. And he said that Bob Arum basically had him throw that fight. He said the fight was set up. Dead serious. That's on Everything I Love. Joshua Clottey did an interview over in Africa, and he talked about the circumstances surrounding the Manny Pacquiao fight. And he threw the fight. Right? And when I listened to that interview, I was like, damn. Drew Titan. Yeah, Drew Titan. Look, read Drew Titan comment. It was in Ghana. Yeah. Drew Titan said he saw it too. So I ain't making this shit up. Yep. Drew Titan says, I saw it. He admitted he threw the fight. Dead serious. He threw the fight. Bob Arum got a history of shit like that. But that's a whole nother story. But Joshua Clottey threw that fight. So let's go back to the path that Manny Pacquiao took. You know what I'm saying? Because check it out. Look at the fights that he had against guys like Marquez. Marquez was cool, but dudes like Timothy Bradley beat the shit out of Marquez. Guys like Floyd Mayweather beat him every fucking round, destroyed him. And like I said, Manny Pacquiao is a beast. I'm not gonna take nothing away from him, but he ain't everything that you thought he was at 147. Low, it was a whole lot of smoke and mirrors with Manny Pacquiao at 147. And we ain't gonna even talk about the PEDs. That's a whole different story. But there's a whole lot of shit surrounding Manny Pacquiao. And you see what I'm saying? Joshua Clottey, he didn't have a man step in the ring with him in front of how many people was in Cowboy Stadium? Over 50,000, I know, probably. And he threw the fight. And he said he threw the fight. He talked about the whole, he talked about the whole circumstances surrounding what Bob Arum had him do. And think about it. Why did Joshua Clottey get blackballed out of the sport after that? You didn't never see nothing, hear or see nothing about Joshua Clottey. Why we don't hear or see nothing about Joshua Clottey? Because, let me look it up. Joshua Clottey was a heavy hitter. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Let me look him up. Let me see. So he did fight out. He did fight. So Joshua Clottey, he went on to fight. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He went on to fight 7 times, and he beat basically everybody that he fought against except for Gabriel Rosado after the Manny Pacquiao. But you never heard nothing about him after that. You really, they didn't, he was just off to the map. He just disappeared, Yeah, so it's a lot of things that's been going on with Manny Pacquiao. Now, this shit is funny to me, right? Because Manny Pacquiao had the okie doke, right? He had everybody. He was gonna fool everybody, right? Have everybody hyped up and then come with some fucking side shit with a Manny Pacquiao. I mean, with a Mikey Garcia fight, right? He gonna come with a Mikey Garcia fight. But no, they derailed all of that shit because the WBA was like, you know what? now that now that especially now that you're not gonna be able to fight you're not gonna be able to fight no Conor McGregor, because these sanctioning bodies, even though a Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao fight, right, wasn't gonna be for no title, you don't think that the WBA was gonna get some bread out of that shit on the side? You don't think that the WBA was gonna get some bread out of that shit on the side, right? But that shit fell out, and they like, nah, I'm sorry, but you know, you've been a great champion, but we're gonna have to take that title from you, right? Now, Manny Pacquiao's plans fell apart, right? Now his plans fell apart. All of his plans fell apart, and then to make it worse, Ryan Garcia, right? Mr. Ryan Garcia, he comes out and he says, you know what? Because see, this is the thing. Ryan Garcia and Manny Pacquiao, they're trying to get away with making their fight an exhibition bout, right? Meaning that exhibition bout, you know, 10 rounds, you know, no records on the line, you know, kind of like a heavy sparring. Excuse me, a heavy sparring match. They trying to make it heavy sparring, right? Ain't no records on the line. It's just basically for entertainment. We're going to do a heavy sparring match for entertainment, right? Ryan Garcia, he comes out and he says, nah, you know, all the rumors that y'all been hearing, it's not true. We pushing to have a real fight with the records on the line. We don't want to do no exhibition. This is what Ryan Garcia is saying. He's speaking for himself, right? I don't want to do no exhibition. I'm pushing to have 12 rounds with the title on the line. And it's going to be a real fight. Fuck that exhibition, right? And see, this is what I think that happened, right? The money for an exhibition bout is not there because they see the backlash from the fans. The fans they don't want to see no fake shit. The backlash from the fans is like, we don't want to see no fucking exhibition bout. We don't want to see no bout where your record is not on the line. We are not paying to see a bout between Ryan Garcia and Manny Pacquiao, two active fighters. One is a world champion, right? And y'all fucking doing some hard sparring. We ain't paying for that shit, right? See, they trying to pull the wool over our eyes, but we wasn't going for that shit. So Ryan Garcia had to come out and fix it, right? He had to come out and do damage control. But Oscar De La Hoya behind the scenes, because you know Manny Pacquiao is like whatever. Because Manny Pacquiao, like, I don't give a fuck what it is. I beat the shit out of Ryan Garcia. This kid ain't gonna beat me, right? This kid is not gonna beat me. So Manny Pacquiao, cool, whatever. If you want to do an exhibition, if you want to fight for real, I'm with it, right? I just want to get this money, right? I want to get this bag and then go and fight Mikey Garcia because that's what the fuck he was gonna do. But see, Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia, like, fuck it. Ryan Garcia, he's a confident young kid, right? He's confident too. Plus, he like, man, this dude is 20 years older than me. I'll fight him, right? Because Ryan, even though we might look at Ryan Garcia as like Ryan Garcia go out there and get the shit beat out of him, that doesn't mean that he don't have the confidence in himself that he can beat these fighters, right? So he confident. That's why he came out like, nah, fuck that. We want a real. I want a real fight. We pushing for a real fight. Oscar De La Hoya sees that, right? He sees that, right? And he knows that Ryan Garcia is his money man. He don't have Canelo no more. Virgil Ortiz is a great fighter, but he don't sell like that. He don't have the character that Ryan Garcia has. He's not known like Ryan Garcia is. So Oscar De La Hoya, he on his last leg right now. You dig what I'm saying? He on his last leg. You ain't finna put your house up, right? You're not finna put the house on Ryan Garcia. And that's how Oscar De La Hoya is looking at it. He like, hold on. Right behind the scenes. Nah, fight's off. The fight's off. We're not fighting no Manny Pacquiao. Because you think he gonna let once it's not an exhibition, see, Oscar De La Hoya cool if it's an exhibition, right? Golden Boy, they cool. It's an exhibition. We'll go out there. He keep his record. You know, we get big money. Money in my pocket, money in Ryan Garcia's pocket, and we move on to do great things. Win, lose, or draw. Right? Exhibition. Nobody, ain't no winners. Right? Ain't no losers. But now they starting to, we putting the pressure on them. They starting to feel that pressure to where they know they're going to have to come with some real shit. And Oscar De La Hoya, I'm telling y'all what happened. Oscar De La Hoya behind the scenes. Oh, well, we don't got investors for it. The money's not there. Yeah, the money ain't there, all right. He told Ryan and his team, like, hey, we're not doing it. I'm not going forward with this. Ain't no money for it anyway. I'm not going for it. It's not going to be no Pacquiao fight. It's not going to be no Pacquiao fight. We can't find nobody to pay for it. That's the easy cop-out, right? Because, see, at the same time, De La Hoya, he has to keep his relationship with his top fighter right now. That's his top fighter. Ryan Garcia is his top fighter right now, right? That's his next golden boy, right? That's his next golden boy. So he has to also keep a good relationship with Ryan Garcia. He can't just tell Ryan Garcia, look, nah, fuck that. I'm not letting you fight him. What you gonna do? Because now he does that, the relationship goes back. Now they having turmoil again like they did in the past. But he says, you know what, Ryan, I want this fight for you, but we just can't find nobody to pay for it. The investors, they're not willing to pay for it. You know, we can't, with the pandemic and everything going on, they not, he telling Ryan that, right? So he comes out, the fight's off. The fight is off. But at the end of the day, when that pressure got to, when that pressure got too hard, when they told De La Hoya, like, nah, I'm sorry, but we can't do no exhibition with y'all. De La Hoya was like, nah, fuck that. We backing out then. We out. And that's exactly what happened. Ain't nobody standing for two active fighters fighting in the exhibition. What type of shit is that? And Errol Spence, right? Let's talk about Errol Spence. Mike Moss, what's good? Mr. Finesse says, yep, that's real talk, Mr. Finesse. So let's talk about Errol Spence. If I'm Errol Spence right now, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at Manny Pacquiao because you tried to fuck me, right? You tried to hold up the whole division waiting on your old ass, holding up titles that you know that you're not going to defend against no credible opponent, right? Just holding up the whole division, right? You had your plan in place. Now I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at you because, Manny, are you okay? Manny, are you okay? Where do you go from here, Manny? Right? Where do you go from here, Manny? Because now, if you want a belt, right? If you want a belt, Manny, well, most likely you're gonna have to go through. I'm not gonna count Ugas out, but I'm gonna say you're gonna have to go through Errol Spence, the guy that you've been ducking for years now. Terrence Crawford, the guy that you've been ducking for damn near a decade now. You only gonna have two paths if you want a belt. Now, do you really want that belt, Manny Pacquiao? Now we gonna get to see how, right? We gonna see what Manny Pacquiao is really made about at this old age, right? We gonna see, is Manny Pacquiao okay? Manny, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Manny? Are you okay, Manny? Because Hey, your plans didn't fall through, right? So don't be surprised if all of a sudden Manny Pacquiao, right? He's not worried about the titles because he's bigger than the title. And Manny Pacquiao decides to go and fight Mikey Garcia with no title on the line. Still a big fight, right? Don't be surprised if Manny Pacquiao, right, decides that all of a sudden the titles ain't shit. He's won all the titles. He has all the accolades in his career, right? Don't be surprised, right? Now he's just gonna go fight Mikey Garcia. No titles on the line. They don't need titles. Don't be surprised. I'm telling y'all. Because what you need to be surprised at and be shocked if Manny Pacquiao comes back, right? And he decides, you know what? I'm going to fight Errol Spence for that title that he just won from Ugas. And, you know I'm going ahead, but I'm picking Errol Spence over Ugas. So that's why I'm saying that. Or, you know what? Terrence Crawford, I want the smoke. I want your title. Be surprised if he do that. But don't be surprised if all of a sudden the titles don't mean shit to Manny Pacquiao now. And he goes on to fight Mikey Garcia. Telling y'all, your plan didn't work out. And that shit is funny because I like Manny Pacquiao, but man, I don't like how you've been moving, right? I don't like how you've been moving. You can't just sit around and, with your legs crossed and, oh, I'm going to do this, and these guys got to wait on me, and I'm going to keep bluffing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep bluffing. Well, you kept bluffing, and you kept bluffing until you ran out of cards. Now you done ran out of cards. You ain't got no more cards to bluff with, Manny Pacquiao. What you going to do? Now, y'all that's watching, I want to get y'all take on this. Who do y'all see Manny Pacquiao fighting next? Now that Ryan Garcia is off the table, who do y'all see Manny Pacquiao, even if he have 2 more fights, who do y'all see Manny Pacquiao fighting? I want to know. I'm just curious. I want to know how everybody feel about this. Mr. Finesse said, you've been struck by the WBA. Hey, dang, man, for real. You've been struck by the WBA. Manny, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Manny? Manny, are you okay? Who do y'all see him? J.A. Dixon says, I was surprised that the WBA didn't make Ugas face Thurman, but knowing WBA, I'm going to relax until I see an official fight announcement. Hey, you know what? I wouldn't have no problem with an Ugas versus Thurman. You know what? If they made Ugas versus Thurman, right? I'm gonna tell y'all right here because I keep the same energy. If they make Ugas versus Thurman, if they they fool all of us, right? And mess around and make a Ugas versus Thurman. Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, they got to make that fight. In the winner fight, the winner of that fight. They've got to make that fight. If they make a Ugas versus Thurman, I would say that now they putting Errol Spence and Crawford's back up against the wall. Then I don't want to see no other fight from Errol Spence, and I don't want to see no other fight from Crawford. I'm not finna get on here and debate with y'all niggas about it. I don't want to see no other fight but Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. And I'm gonna get on both of their helmets, right? If they making excuses and they don't make that fight, because it ain't nothing else left. In my eyes, if they make a Ugas versus Thurman, it ain't nothing else left in my eyes. But I don't think they're gonna do that. I think the fight that they're going to make is Ugas versus Errol Spence. We ain't even really, Keith Thurman ain't really in line right now for that. Keith Thurman ain't in line for that shot. But like I said, if they did that, I wouldn't have no problem because it would make even more sense then for Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Real talk. Let me see what y'all talking about. Let me see. Mike Moss says Mikey would be a great fight for him. That's a great fight. But see, it's too great of a fight for Mikey, right? I think Mikey felt it was too great of a fight for him coming off a 2-year layoff. G5 Gabe says Conor or winner of Taylor versus Ramirez. That Conor fight ain't on the table no more because see that Conor fight, they can't sell it to us like they could. Conor is not, you can't sell Conor McGregor as that force now that he didn't lost the fucking what? He didn't lost what 3 out of his last 4 fights or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't really sell Conor McGregor like that. Ain't nobody buying that shit no more. Let me say, Nick Silvio says, I would like to see Manny versus Porter, fast-paced, action-packed. Yeah, but he ain't gonna fight Porter. He ain't gonna fight Sean Porter because Sean Porter been begging him to fight for years, and him and Sean Porter used to be sparring partners. That's two. Manny Pacquiao don't do well against guys like Sean Porter. Sean Porter gonna bully him. You know what I'm saying? Sean Porter gonna go in there and make it rough and rugged and bully him. Although Manny Pacquiao beat the shit out of Jeff Horn, Manny Pacquiao beat the shit out. He beat Jeff Horn, but at times in that fight, Jeff Horn was having some success because he was bullying him. You know what I'm saying? And Sean Porter is way better than Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn is fucking trash. Sean Porter way better than Jeff Horn. Like, I ain't even professional in my footwork is like 20 times better than Jeff Horn's. Jeff Horn, his shit is some trash. Mr. Finesse, Knockout Boxing 86 TV says, I see Manny fighting Danny Garcia or Mikey Garcia. Then if he wins, he'll get his final payday against either Spence Crawford, assuming one of them is undisputed at the time. I don't think he's going to go in the ring and risk that. By that time, he either going to be like, 43, 44 years. He not finna risk that. That's too risky. Like I said, Manny Pacquiao didn't have no intentions on fighting Errol Spence or a Terrence Crawford unless they was going to pay him big money. And I'm not talking about no $20-25 million neither. Unless he was going to get big money out of there. Nah, because he looking at the situation like, right, why would I risk taking another L and risk my health, right, fighting a Spence or a Terrence Crawford when I could fight Mikey Garcia and make just as much money against somebody that's way less dangerous than fighting Crawford or Spence. He wouldn't finna fight neither one of them. I'm telling y'all. And I'm always saying I was laughing at Terrence Crawford. And if Taiwan's still in the building, he know because I got on Taiwan. And then I said, man, y'all crazy if you think Manny Pacquiao finna fight y'all. I said that fight ain't finna happen. Bob Arum is lying again. Mr. Finesse says, path to least resistance, that's who's next. And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Look at the circumstances behind Manny Pacquiao in his whole career at 147. This is not something that has just started because he got old, right? I know a lot of people looking at it as like, well, he's old now, I don't blame him. And you make a lot of sense if you're looking at it like that. You make a whole lot of sense if you're looking at the situation like that. But you got to go back. You got to backdate and look at the circumstances behind his whole career at 147. And he been moving like that his whole career at 147. Right? He wasn't taking the the toughest path of resistance, right? It was always some circumstances, but if it was an opponent that was bigger than him or something like that, it was some circumstances around most of those fights. The only fights that it was not no circumstances surrounding it, like, okay, it was on an even playing field, was Marquez, but Marquez came up in weight just like he did. Timothy Bradley, another guy that was small also, that came up in weight just like he did, right? Listen to what I'm saying here. Who else? Or, you know, a guy like Chris Algieri, that Chris Algieri came up in weight like he did, because Chris Algieri was fighting at 140 at one point in time, right? And that was, you know, he wasn't no A or B level opponent really at that point in time. Chris Algieri maybe like a high C plus or B minus at the most, right? And a dude like Jesse Vargas, right? Those are the guys at 140 that you could really look at and say, okay, it wasn't, he didn't, Ricky Hatton, right? Ricky Hatton, another guy that came up in weight, but already got beat by Mayweather. The rest of them dudes, it was some shit. The rest of the guys that he beat at 147, it was something surrounding it, right? If he was getting in there with a De La Hoya that was way bigger than him, De La Hoya was old, had already got beat by Mayweather, had to come down in weight, right? It was always some circumstances to give him an advantage. Telling you, these is facts. Mr. Finesse, I forgot he fought Brandon Rios. This motherfucker fought Brandon Rios. Come on. I forgot about that, Mr. Finesse. Brandon Rios. So, like I said, a lot of y'all don't like to hear the facts, but I'm on here speaking facts. These are just facts surrounding, right, his career, because a lot of people like to, well, Floyd Mayweather did this. Floyd Mayweather didn't do half of the shit that Manny Pacquiao was running around here doing. Straight up and down. But hey, you know, one fighter is liked and loved, and one fighter is hated. Now, as far as outside of the ring, I like Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is a much better man to me than Floyd Mayweather, right? But inside of the ring, can't compare him, you ask me. Inside of the ring, Floyd Mayweather on another level, right? But outside of the ring, Manny Pacquiao is a better man. The shit that Manny Pacquiao does, you know, me personally, I think Manny Pacquiao is a fucking drug cheat, right? It's no, like, what he was doing and then didn't want to take a blood test, that says it all, right? But other than that, you know, people do shit, you know, people change. You know, he did a lot of shit in the past and he changed. He a different man, right? But what he does for his country and how he helps people, you can't do nothing but commend that man. He's a great man outside of the ring, right? But he's not Floyd Mayweather. He's not on Floyd Mayweather level inside of the ring, right? He don't have the ring IQ as Floyd Mayweather. He don't have the fundamental skills, and you know, he's faster. His footwork is superb. Manny Pacquiao's footwork is excellent. You know, but that's just what it is, you know. But Manny Pacquiao is one of the greatest fighters that we've ever seen in the ring, period. You know, but it's circumstances surrounding a lot of them W's that he got. Not, and I'm not saying that he wouldn't have beat those guys, but we got to look at it for what it is. Nick Silvio says Spence's best shot at Manny was to fight him his first back after the accident. After seeing what Spence done to Garcia, Manny won't fight him. Yeah, I don't think Manny Pacquiao, I don't know what that Senate, what the Senate thing is like. I don't think Manny Pacquiao was available at that point in time. You know, I think Spence would have took that fight against Manny Pacquiao right off the rip, because Spence he has the utmost the utmost confidence in himself. And I think Spence coming off that injury, I think he felt, this is how I think that Spence felt, right, coming off that injury. After he really got into training and really started working, I think he felt like, I was beating these dudes and I was really fucking off. I was beating these dudes and I was coming in to camp, 50, 60 pounds overweight. I wasn't training as hard as I was before. I was doing extra shit outside of, while camp was going on outside of the ring. I'm doing all that shit, right? And I'm still beating these dudes. Now I'm really grinding. Now I'm really focused. I'm locked and loaded. I'll beat any of these guys. I think he really felt like that coming back in. David Garcia says, no credit for Thurman fight. I spoke about that. You just getting in the building? I said I give him all the credit for the Keith Thurman fight. But at the end of the day, I think that, Manny Pacquiao might have looked at Keith Thurman as vulnerable, from Keith Thurman having a layoff, a 2-year layoff, and from Keith Thurman not looking good in the Josecito Lopez fight and being this close to being stopped. You know what I'm saying? Because if we had a antsy referee, if you know how some of these refs are, right? If we had an antsy referee, we could be having a whole different story. Keith Thurman could have got stopped in that Josecito Lopez fight if we had a different type of ref. If the ref was one of those refs that's like, okay, I ain't gonna give you too much of a chance, and jumped in, he could have easily stopped that fight with the Josecito Lopez. Mr. Finesse says Manny wasn't the best in boxing at any point in his career, but he is a good fighter. Well, yeah, because when he was at his greatest, when he was at the peak of his career, you had a guy like Floyd Mayweather that was there. I be back. What's good with it? He said Spence talked too much. He been no show ever since Manny beat Thurman. Okay. All right. J.A. Dixon says Manny also did no testing for the Thurman fight. I talked about that a lot leading up to the I talked about that, J.A. Dixon, a lot leading up to that Manny Pacquiao and Thurman fight. I talked about how that shit was real weird, but you know what? Keith Thurman didn't give Manny Pacquiao the respect that he should have. Keith Thurman let it go on. If you was that money hungry and you thought that, oh, this is just the old man I'm getting in the ring with, and I don't give a fuck what he taking, I'm gonna still beat his ass if that's the case. I'm not accusing Manny Pacquiao of taking anything against Thurman, but I'm saying because they did have extensive drug testing in the Thurman fight, right? They didn't have it, right? That's Keith Thurman fault for, being so cocky, he let that go on. He could have stopped that. But I think he didn't say nothing because maybe behind the scenes, it's like, well, we're not going to take the fight with you then, Keith Thurman. I don't know. But a fact, this is a fact, right? Because Keith Thurman really didn't talk too much about that shit, right? But this is a fact. I'm going to tell y'all because I like to speak facts. Adrian Broner, leading up to the Adrian Broner and Manny Pacquiao fight, right? They had testing. They had testing in Adrian Broner and Manny Pacquiao fight. It was testing, or it was supposed to be testing, right? Deep into training camp, Adrian Broner did an interview, right? And he was asked about the testing. And Adrian Broner was like, this is what he said. He was like, shit, I thought we were supposed to have tested. He was like, shit, camp almost over. And I don't know where these motherfuckers been. He was like, ain't nobody came and tested me. He was like, I don't know what's happening with him over there. But shit, I thought you know how AB gonna keep it real. He was like, shit, these motherfuckers ain't came and tested me in time. I don't know what they doing with Pacquiao, but I thought we were supposed to have testing. They ain't showed up over here. And so when I heard AB say that, I'm like, damn. That's I'm like, that's interesting. That's real. I'm like, that's interesting because all of a sudden, because when I know, right, that I know of when it's testing and random testing, them motherfuckers be showing up all the time, just randomly, you know. And AB was like, shit, dang, I don't know what's going on. I thought they were supposed to have testing, but I ain't seen them. They ain't showed up and tested me, not nan time. So G5 Gabe said he remembered that. Yeah, I ain't making shit up. Yeah, he said he remembered that interview. And like that threw a flag, you know, that like threw a red flag to me. But like I said, I'm not accusing Manny Pacquiao of anything. I'm just stating the facts that, you know, things that were said, things that took place. Dale Deloach was good with it. He says, like Floyd said, people pay him to lose. People pay to see him lose. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Let me see. So, you know, it's a lot of shit surrounding Manny Pacquiao. You dig what I'm saying? But it gets overlooked and it don't get talked about really, you know, because Manny Pacquiao is a great man outside of the ring. You know, Manny Pacquiao does a lot of great humanitarian work. And he is the, you know, Manny Pacquiao is the good guy. Floyd Mayweather, he's the asshole. He the bad guy. Say for instance, you know, and that's just what it is. Mr. Finesse says this man ducked the drug test I'm accusing. Well, I'm not accusing Manny Pacquiao in the circumstances of Adrian Broner and Keith Thurman. Like, it's some funny shit that was going on, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just leave. Now, with that Mayweather shit, back when Manny Pacquiao came up to 147, how he was looking in the way that he was fighting, and then on top of that, how he was really refusing to take a blood test. Like, yeah, I'll take a piss test, but I ain't taking no blood test. And if you don't know, drugs like EPO, you back then, I don't know if they have it now, but back then you only could find it in your bloodstream. It was a lot of PEDs back then that they only could detect through blood. They couldn't detect it through piss. So a lot of these fighters, Manny Pacquiao, right? They was refusing to take blood tests. Mayweather came and changed the whole game. Mayweather changed the whole game when he said, fuck that. People try to forget. Mayweather changed the game. It wasn't no blood testing in boxing until Mayweather came and he said, I'm not fighting nobody else without blood testing. Look at this shit. Hold on. Let me just pull up something. Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna show y'all something. Hold on. Hold on. Come on. Manny Pacquiao wasn't looking nothing like that before. But before he came to 147, this motherfucker wasn't looking nothing like that. So yeah, I'm accusing him of using PEDs because why wouldn't you don't want to take a blood test for 40 million? For Floyd Mayweather said he was gonna pay him 40 mil guaranteed. And you ain't want to take no blood test for 40 mil? Come on now, bro. You ain't want to take no blood test for 40 million guaranteed? Exactly, Mr. Finesse. Saying he'll test 30 days out if that ain't exactly. I'll agree to take the test, but it has to be, you got to stop testing me 30 days. Come on now, bro. 30 days out? Let's look at another picture. But y'all see how Manny Pacquiao was looking when he came up. You know what I'm saying? This shit crazy. Sheena, what's going on with you, Queen? She says, why did Thurman agree to no testing versus Pac? Are they both doping? Like I said, I'm not, like the Adrian Broner situation, in the Thurman situation, I'm not accusing Manny Pacquiao anything because I don't know. Like I said, it is what it is. But I spoke about that. I just spoke about that, Sheena. I said, Thurman, right? Thurman, I think that Thurman really underestimated Pacquiao. He was looking, and he said it himself. He was looking at Manny Pacquiao as, this is an old guy. I'm fucking young. It don't matter if I'm coming off a 2-year layoff and, with only one tune up and I'm injured. Because he said he was injured. He needed a surgery. He needed surgery in that fight. Because it's facts, because he had surgery right after that fight and he ain't been back yet. Right? But he said he felt like that Manny Pacquiao was much too small for him. That Manny Pacquiao was old, and whatever Manny Pacquiao was on or whatever the circumstances was surrounding it, right? Was he felt that he could beat Manny Pacquiao either way. So I think that Keith Thurman, right? First, that was his biggest money fight. His biggest money fight. And he had been out of the sport for so long, right? So he wasn't getting no bread. So he just jumped on it. It was a money grab. And he felt that he underestimated Manny Pacquiao. That's what he did. So he felt like, I don't care. No drug testing, cool. I ain't worried about it. I'm going to still beat his little ass. He old anyway now. It don't matter what he on. I think that's what really Keith Thurman. But I'm not accusing Manny Pacquiao being on nothing because I don't know. But I would be accusing Manny Pacquiao of being on something if they did come to him and tell him, like, hey, we got to have blood testing in this Keith Thurman fight. And then he turned it down. He like, nope, I'm not fighting Keith Thurman with no blood testing. Right? If there's blood testing, then I'll be accusing him. I don't know if that happened. You see? But I do know that happened in the Floyd Mayweather situation. So people can feel how they want to feel about it. He was doping back then. It ain't no other fucking, if somebody told me right now, hey, we think you've been doing cocaine and heroin, right? We want you, I'll give you, say some little shit. I'll give you $1,000 to go take this blood test. You think I'm gonna say no? You think I'm gonna say no? Because we know, right? we know he wasn't ducking Mayweather because he was afraid and thought that he couldn't beat Mayweather, because he really wanted that fight. He just wanted that fight. He wanted that fight, being able to go into that fight like he had been going into the rest of his fights. Because see, once you start taking PEDs, that shit mental, right? Once you start taking PEDs, it's mental, because now it's like, well, I've been taking this shit and I'm steamrolling through all of these dudes. I don't know, how I'm gonna look if I don't take it. It's mental. So Floyd Mayweather, being the fighter that he was at that point in time, he wasn't willing to risk, right? He wasn't willing to risk his reputation, because Manny Pacquiao was looked at as the greatest thing since sliced bread at that point in time, walking through everybody. He wasn't willing to risk that against a Floyd Mayweather, right? He's always had some type of, jealousy when it came to Floyd Mayweather. Even when he lost to Floyd Mayweather years down the line, you see how he took the loss. He couldn't take it. He couldn't take the loss. He couldn't take that L. Years down the line, y'all see how he took it. So how do you think he would have, right, been able to accept losing to Floyd Mayweather in his prime? Come on. Think about that. Hey, Zenith360 say I'm going to have to Google Manny's head size. That's funny as hell. It's like, right? It's like, it's funny that you said that, right? Just like Barry Bonds, right? Come on now. Barry Bonds never got caught using those steroids, right? But everybody and their grandmama know that Barry Bonds is on roids. Everybody know that. Some of y'all might not even know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But y'all, if you know, you know. Let me see. Sammy Sosa, right? Everybody know that Sammy Sosa was on fucking roids. He never got caught, but everybody know Sammy Sosa was on roids, right? In those times, it was much easier to get around and pass drug tests, because they was pissing you. All they was doing was piss testing you. You could do a lot of things so they couldn't detect things in your piss. Mr. Finesse says Mark McGuire. I think Mark McGuire did get caught, or did he? No, I think he admitted it. He admitted to it, but he never got caught. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of ways around it. You feel what I'm saying? You pissing. Mike Tyson said he had drugs in his system damn near every fight, and he was passing the drug test because he was using a synthetic penis and having somebody come on, like he was. It was piss. It was a lot of things you could do, but see, now when they going in your veins right there and drawing that blood, it's a different story. You can't get around that. You feel me? That's why a lot of these guys now is getting popped in football, baseball, boxing. It's more guys getting popped for shit now than ever, because now a lot of these guys are having to take blood tests, and that blood, that's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing when that blood coming, So, I'm not finna sit up here and act like Manny Pacquiao wouldn't know some shit. The man wouldn't take a blood test for 40 mil. That tell you all you need to know. You know what I'm saying? That's the next biggest thing, to either seeing him do it with your fucking own eyes or him getting caught. Sheena says Manny didn't even give Floyd credit for beating him. I'm glad Floyd don't give him a rematch. Facts. And you know what, Sheena? I never even looked at it that way, right? And now that you say that, he didn't even give him credit for beating him. He didn't. And at one point, he was saying that he won the fight. So why would I give you a rematch and you not even giving me my just due? You not even being a man and saying, look, you was the better man that night and you beat me, you know, but I would like a rematch. Real talk. He is something with Floyd Mayweather, man. He has a, I think it's because they compared him and Floyd so long, and, you know, it was so much of pressure on his back to beat Floyd. And then, you know, then if it wasn't for Floyd, nobody would have came at Manny Pacquiao with all of those PED allegations. But Floyd and them was looking back and like, man, hold on. Something ain't right about this dude. We feel something ain't right, so, you know, we just gonna, fuck it. We got to take blood tests. And he called his bluff. Floyd called his bluff. We don't feel something is right, so prove it to us by, you know, in our fight, we both got to take random blood testing. Come on, man. Anybody that defends Manny Pacquiao and say that he was never on PEDs, anybody that can say that, they full of shit and they don't believe what they saying themselves. Because unless you can say that you would turn down $40 million, right? If you would turn down $40 million for a blood test, you either a damn fool, a goddamn fool, or you got some shit in your system and you know you ain't gonna pass it anyway. I Be Back says Buns and Sosa use PEDs because the drug peddler's memo testified before Congress admitted he gave steroids to those guys. Yeah, and also Barry Bonds' head, his hat size grew to fucking elastic, right? The motherfucker his head started off. He was wearing like a 7 1/4. And his fucking fitted cap size grew to elastic. That's why. This motherfucker retired with an Andre the Giant size head. Come on. Mr. Finesse says, and Sheena noticed how before the fight it was all, I think he talking, okay. He said Thurman put up a tougher fight than Floyd. Well, Thurman is a different fighter than Floyd. Thurman, you know, he gave Manny Pacquiao more damage than Floyd did because Thurman was going to take more chances than Floyd. Two different styles, especially at that point in time. Floyd was just going to do what the fuck he had to do to get up out there with that W. You feel me? Floyd at that point in time, Floyd was like, I don't care about pleasing the fans. I'm finna go out here, do what I got to do, get this fucking fucking amazing amount of money that you ain't never seen or heard of in boxing, right? I'm gonna pull off this heist and I'm gonna go home. That's his whole thing, and I'm gonna keep a 0 on my record. But you know, if you don't like how Floyd was doing it, beat him. Figure out how to beat him, and nobody could. You know, Madonna came close to figuring out, but it almost ain't good enough. Zenith says turn down a blood test for any reason in the sport is suspect, especially for 40 mil. Exactly, it's common sense. And it'd be crazy when dudes be like, you don't have no proof. He never did that. Like, what you mean? What type of what more proof do you need? Yep. And he lied about the shoulder. Talking about his shoulder, he needed shoulder surgery and everything. Then he come up talking about he healed it in salt water. Come on, man. Like I said, Manny is a great man outside of the ring, but hey, Manny lied too. Manny tell extensive lies. Some people, they just can't take, it's crazy because some fighters, right, they can take losing, but they can't take losing to certain people. Like my man, right, and I'll make a perfect example, right? Like my man, Tony Harrison, right? I fuck with Tony Harrison heavy, right? Tony Harrison, he was able to take losing to guys like Jared Hurd and, you know, the couple other losses he had, right? He was able to take that pretty well. But him losing to Jermell Charlo, like, he took it, but he took that one hard. Like, he even said it, like, man, it was kind of like, you know, like, I don't give a fuck if I lose to anybody, but losing to Jermell Charlo, like, I can't hardly take that shit. And that's how Manny Pacquiao was with Floyd Mayweather. I don't know, you know, what it is. It's just something in them. I Be Back says Floyd barely got touched because Manny hands got tied up for constant Floyd hugging. Okay, I mean, this is boxing. This is fighting. Figure out a way to stop it then. Like, I mean, I don't know what you're trying to say. Figure out a way to stop it. Wait, hold on. This dude, now you talking some silly shit. This dude, I Be Back says Floyd lowballed 40 mil to duck Manny. Ain't nothing to do with drug tests. Manny turned down because he knew he could get over 100 mil, which he did. Fuck are you talking about? In 2009, who was making 100 mil in boxing? See, when you get stupid fucking comments like this dude right here, like, right, this is the type of shit I'm talking about. When you get dumb comments like this, see, when you get comments like this dude right here on the screen, right? Like I said, these type of dudes, they just talk just to talk because they don't believe the shit that they say they self. How stupid is this fucking comment right here? First of all, I would like you to name who was getting 100 mil in boxing in 2009. Who was getting that type of money in boxing in 2009? In 2009, who was getting 40 mil in boxing? Name them. Name them. I want you to tell me. This motherfucker, look, this dude, and this is the last attention I'm gonna give him, but I just want everybody to see how stupid this fucking dude is right here, okay? And you gotta be stupid to say some shit like this, right? He said Manny was already getting 40 mil in 2009, and Floyd lowballed him. Manny Pacquiao wouldn't get nothing near 40 mil in 2009. You either retarded, half retarded, full-blown retarded, or you just fucking trolling. Which one is it? Which one is it? Or you just started watching boxing yesterday and somebody else that's retarded is telling you this shit. This shit's ridiculous, but this is a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier in the show. You got people like that, right? That's just going to say anything. I don't know. Hey, Mr. Finesse says all the above. Man, for real. But Sheena said he all three. Man, for real. This shit crazy, man. So anyway, Knockout Boxing 86 TV says Manny is getting 20 mil to 25 mil per fight now, but he was making more money in 2009 when he wasn't a star he is today. Exactly. But you know, you can't talk common sense with people that don't have common sense. You feel me? Like, you can't. But anyway, where does Manny Pacquiao go from here? His plan didn't work, and his back is up against the wall. He don't got no title. His back is up against the wall. And not to get in the man's personal business, You know, he need at least one more big fight because he got tax problems. He got big tax problems and he owes a lot of taxes. But, you know, that's a whole different story. So a lot of people wondering why Manny Pacquiao still fighting. That could be a reason. But anyway, you know, Mr. Finesse says perfect example of a fan of a boxer and not a fan of boxing. Right. A fan of a boxer and not a fan of boxing. That's why I always preach to people, you got to keep the same energy and you got to keep it 150 straight down the middle, right? Because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of certain boxers, but before I knew them, before I knew they existed, I was a fan of boxing. And I will always be a fan of boxing, even when they long gone from the sport. Because somebody else will come along, that's just what it is. Yes, sir. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure that y'all hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Much love once again to everybody in the comments, in the chat. We will be back on here tomorrow cooking. And hit the like button, right? Anyway, y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again. I don't watch reality TV. I watch boxing. And anything ain't everything, but around here, everything boxing. Yes, sir. And we out. Come in tomorrow. Y'all already know we're going to have a jam-packed show once again for you tomorrow. I appreciate y'all, and I'm out.